Hey guys, welcome to the video. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoy.
So, let me explain how this works. The new map mechanic is basically laid out so that you guys see this white line going across the middle. You guys see that tiny white line going across the middle of the map right now? That is a line of snow. And the line represents the sections of north and south, where the south is the safe zone and the north is the quote-unquote war zone. And basically in the safe zone you can do everything you normally could, where you can still kill people and everything, except you won't be able to loot their bodies. So for our newer players, for the people that are role-playing, you don't have to worry about getting killed randomly or RDM'd and losing all your shit, because that's the part that feels the worst, in my opinion, especially as a newer player. You stupid. So there's still going to be a lot of role-playing, a lot of funny moments where people are going to just kill people randomly for no reason, but it won't feel as bad because you're not losing all your shit. Yeah, H-Jun had a gun. I heard he got robbed by someone with I don't know, a melee weapon or something. So yeah, if you see here on the south side of the line, there's actually no monuments except for Harbor, I guess. But is Harbor really a monument? Not really. You stupid. So on the south side, this is Bandit Camp. This is Outpost. And there's no other monuments. This thing right here. Sorry, there's actually no way for me to like point at something, right? How do I point? I don't think I can point. I was like pointing on my screen, but I realized you guys can't see what I'm pointing at. Hold on. Okay, I don't know how to do this. Look, you guys see this thing on the left bottom? This is Harbor and Bandit Camp. This thing on the right side, right bottom, that's Outpost. I can't zoom. It won't let me. This is so scuffed. But anyways, the point is, there's no monuments on the south side of the map. There's only safe zone stuff like the Bandit Camp, the Outpost. There's rivers. There's police station, gas station, supermarket. Nothing too crazy. Use paint? Oh, true. You know what? You guys are so smart. Give me a second. So this over here, this is Bandit Camp. This is Outpost. This white line going across the center is the safe zone. Like, it defines the safe zone. You can't build in the war zone. You stupid. So in the war zone, you see all of the big monuments where you can go and find better loot and gear. And it essentially becomes like a high risk, high reward kind of thing. You stupid. All right, so basically going into the war zone, it's like you understand that you can get killed. So that's why it's like high risk, high reward. For those people that don't care about guns, that don't care about like, you know, like progressing like with weaponry, there's no need for you to go to the war zone. You have so much space over here to build. So this caters to both the people who like to PvP and also the people who don't like to PvP, or the people who want to just primarily roleplay. And it gives the option for you to do both, essentially. And then we put military tunnels up here and launch site up here as far away from the safe zone line as possible, so that it's like you have to travel the farthest to get the best loot. Also, there was a couple of things that we did as well, which was we are going to stagger the items that you can get in the game. You can't see. Zoom. Okay. Can you see now? Look, this is military tunnels right here. And this is launch site. It's the furthest away from the line. And then there's a lot of monuments in between. Like here, 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 and here. Happy? Does this make you guys happier? Me using a different color? It literally makes no difference. Some other details. You cannot build in the war zone. So you can't build like in the center right here and just farm all the monuments. So essentially, that's the TLDR of how everything is working. Safe zone, war zone, high risk, high reward. There's gonna be a lot of roleplay because everyone's going to be building in the safe zone. But there's going to be other mechanics that we are going to put in later on in the game. And like I said, we're going to be staggering progression. So day one, most likely you're not gonna see anyone with like an AK or maybe even an SMG. We're gonna make progression actual progression. So the first few days, most people are going to be using bows, nail guns, crossbows, and it's gonna be really fun to watch.
You stupid.
I think the other server, I sort of blame HJune, but in the other server there was a lot of speed running to higher tier guns, and
You stupid.
this server that's most likely not going to be possible. Literally, after the first day, everyone had guns. Even Saikuno was like, I've never touched a bow in my life. I've never shot a bow before. Honestly, I really appreciate that like all of our friends and peers like
You stupid.
are appreciating me. Does that make sense? Like it's like very yeah, I don't handle like appreciation well, but it feels really good. So second server, it's going to be primarily like roleplay with a lot of incentivized PvP. So I think now you guys really understand what I meant in my initial tweet about the quote unquote incentivized PvP. I don't think anyone would get upset on the server too much. Even if there was like RDMing, it doesn't feel as bad. And yeah, the only rules that we're really setting is no mindless killing in the safe zone. Obviously, we want like this goes back to being considerate to your fellow streamers, your peers, and stuff like no Discord calls, using in-game voice chat for maximum immersion, and just trying your best to roleplay and being considerate to everyone's content. Those are the primary rules that we are going to be enforcing. Yeah, honestly, that's basically... Oh, guys, feel free to ask any questions you might have. Oh, I see a lot of questions about raids. No raids. So that's something that we're taking into consideration. So there's a couple things that we have thought of that we're still not sure which we're going to go with. But because you can't build in the war zone, right, north of the line, we're thinking about having pre-built forts or bases that
Stupid.
you can raid if you want to, but you can't build on it. So the only way that you can like have a fort in the north is to raid into it. So it gives you like an objective to like take over like one of these forts.
You stupid.
So it's kind of like a zone kind of thing. So that's an option that we had. Another option that we also thought of is having kind of like a purge day where we take the safe zone off and you can basically kill and loot people and raid bases. So that's also another option. We don't know which one we're going to go with. Probably going to talk about it a lot. Maybe we'll do both. I don't know. I feel like that might be a bit too crazy. Like people are going to stock up on rockets and raid like every base. That might be a bit too crazy. We're definitely going to have to talk about it more. Yeah, I really like both of the ideas. The fort idea in the north was actually Shroud's idea. And I think it's really, really, really cool. It reminds me of some of those games where you like take over like a part of a land and then you like tax the people that live in that land. I don't remember. There's definitely a bunch of games that are kind of like that. But that's what it reminded me of. Obviously, it wouldn't be like that, but kind of, Civilization? Yeah, like Civilization. Taxes. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. I do think that roleplay on this server is going to be a lot heavier. And I also think that there's going to be quite a lot of PvP. Primarily because literally every monument and town that you can get better loot or like more components from is in the north. So it's like you're understanding and agreeing that as you're going into the north, that you have the chance to be killed. And if you understand, and if everyone knows that and understands that, even if you die, you're not going to feel bad because you're going to have prepared for it mentally, right? It feels bad when you die or when you get RDM'd, like in our previous server, because you didn't expect it to happen. It happens out of nowhere when you're like just chilling, hanging out, having a good time, and you're literally losing everything. If you're mentally prepared for it, you go up north and you're like, oh, I can die here, so let's like deposit most of my items and go with like a bow and arrow or something. It doesn't feel bad when you die. Or it does feel bad, but it doesn't feel as bad. That's the point. List of people. I'm not going to be releasing a list of people. I'm going to be sending invites to people probably like in the coming days. But yeah, like I said, we're keeping the group small, so I don't want anyone to get upset. And we're going to be adding more people literally throughout the days. I know that there's going to be people upset. I don't want to be that guy, but unfortunately I have to be that guy. PvP server team size. I think we're going to make it 5 or 6. 5 or 6. I think 5 or 6 is a good number. It doesn't get too crazy and it gives more opportunities to collaborate and, you know, play with new people. I think having a team of like 10 plus, which is what we had in the current server, I think it was like, it wasn't bad, but at the same time, it was kind of weird, right? Because it's like you would just keep adding people to your team whenever someone was not online, and then just re-add them back when they're online. So it was like, it was too unorganized. It was too crazy. There was way too many people. I think having like set team sizes is probably a better idea. Yeah, it's gonna be 5 or 6. Consequences. We're going to enforce the rules a lot more. We are definitely going to enforce the rules a lot more and probably give people like warnings, then day bans, and then perma bans. Or if they're really bad, then we're just gonna kick them. If they're really bad, we're just gonna kick them. Is there a way to see name tags from afar if they're not on your team? So we have some developers working on some plugins that might help with that. I don't know if it'll be ready in time. We'll have to see. Will the PvP server map change? Yeah, it's gonna be a new map. Who are the people who are first going to be on the server? That's going to not be public. Any plans for community servers with the same rule sets? Honestly, no, because it's already too difficult as it is. I'm sure if you or anybody in the chat wants to host their own community server with the same rules, like, feel free. I personally think it's a good idea. Guys, don't at me and say don't invite so and so. Like, that's so fucking weird. First of all, don't tell me what to do. And second of all, I don't care. I don't care who you dislike. I'm not gonna lie, on the server, I have 0 issues with basically anyone on the server. There's no one I particularly dislike. What about those who want to go solo? Is it obligatory to be in a team? No, they could be solo if they want. It's just max team size. You can have a team of 2, you can have a team of 3, it doesn't matter. Will there be any major events with actual prizes? Maybe. That's definitely something that we can potentially do in the future, just no plans for it at the moment. I agree with John, don't invite H-June. Yeah, that H-June guy, man. That H-June guy. What about the pro Rust teaming up? Okay, yeah, that was another thing that I saw, right? Honestly, it wasn't that bad, but when I saw, who was it? Trowsy and Coco on the same team as XQC, when I saw that, I was kind of like, actually, I was like manka-essing. I was manka-hooing and manka-essing. Yeah, so I think we definitely need to like keep an eye out and like talk about that a little more. Yeah, I logged onto the server today. Immediately when I logged on, I saw him mow down like 4 people with an M2. I think for the people that have a lot of hours in Rust, I think they need to be a little bit more mindful of you know, the actions they take and the fights that they choose. When you say you have developers working on servers, do you mean actual game devs or people helping develop the server specifically? Like actual game devs. We're working with Face Punch developers, and I think we also have like non-Face Punch developers also helping with like the creation of some like plugins and tools. Also got to keep an eye out for Shroud, Calvin, Defran, Aim Gods. Yeah, Calvin is nuts. Calvin is just as good as any of the other guys that have 10k plus hours in Rust. Like, Calvin is just way too cracked. I think 2 Rust pros per team max is a good number. Hell no. I think 1 Rust pro per team is too much. I think Rust pros shouldn't get a team. Is it hard to set up a Rust server? Oh yeah. Well, I think setting up a normal Rust server is not difficult because there's a lot of providers that have everything, all the resources available to you to create the server. But when you're creating a server full of so many big content creators, there's so many steps you need to take. And we definitely would not have been able to do this without the help of Facepunch. What about NPC enemies in the RP server? Will you add new enemies? I was playing around with it on the server. I know some of you guys who were watching some of the streams last night probably saw me messing around with some of the AI and mobs and shit. I think it's cool, but the issue is
You stupid.
the challenging ones, which were the scarecrows, their drops were a bit way too OP. And they're AI NPCs, so you can easily manipulate it so that it's like so easy to kill, you know? So if we were to implement it, there's a lot of factors that we would need to take into account. So another thing, guys, having so many like experienced role players on the server was, I think it helped a lot. Even during the current state of things where everyone was just kind of like RDMing and like KOSing, I think the role players definitely helped out a lot to relieve that. The experienced role players, yeah, like Spaceboy, Vader, Sire, like all of them.
That's all I have for today, and I hope you enjoyed watching.